Hey ladies, this is Trina from Alluretrends, and I was coming to you because a lot of women don't know what their self-worth is, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because a lot of women are putting their self before other people, and a lot of times, you know, you have to put yourself first before anyone else, because it shows a sign of low self-esteem. And that's the reason why I'm making this video, because I really believe that us women, we always put other people before ourselves, and we have to love ourselves, ladies. You know, a lot of times we get into relationships, or we get into abusive relationships, and we forget about ourselves. We always want to please others and give to others, and we don't put ourselves first. You know, love yourself, put yourself, be empowerment, be beautiful, be, you know, put yourself first. You know, don't let nobody take advantage of you. Don't let nobody misuse you and abuse you. You know, you should know what your self-worth is. You know, if you don't love yourself, how would you love anybody else? You know. And then I also want to talk about the love of God. You know, a lot of times us as women, we forget about God, and God is the #1 source to knowing yourself. You know, God will give you anything and everything your heart desire, but the first step is actually putting yourself first before anyone else. So I'm going to talk about 10 ways on how to build up your self-worth, knowing what your self-worth is. You know, a lot of times us women, we take ourselves for granted, and that's not the way. The best way is loving yourself and putting yourself first. Okay? So I'm going to talk about 10 ways on how to put yourself first. Hey ladies, so this is part 2 of the video. First I did the introductory of the self-worth. So now we're going to talk about between 10 to 16 steps on knowing your self-worth. And these are some really key points that I want to reiterate on knowing your self-worth. Okay? The first one would be self-respect. Now ladies, now if you know that a fella is disrespecting you, you know you need to walk away. Okay? Having self-respect is not doing anything that is not setting standards. So ladies, again, think about standards. You know, self-respect. Self-respect yourself. You know, don't allow people to ladies, don't allow people to mistreat you. Okay? So self-respect is actually respecting yourself, you know, rather if it's anything sexually or, you know, anything, just respect yourself. You know what your standards are, and you know what you're going to allow and what you're not going to allow. The next one is what I just mentioned, setting standards and value. Value yourself. You know, you are valuable. You are beautiful. You are valuable. You are God's creature. So you have to value yourself. Value yourself, you know. You know, set standards. You know, especially when it comes to dealing with men. You have to set standards, because if you don't set standards, then who else will? You know what you're going to allow and what you're not going to allow. So this is also for relationships as well. So, you know, remember that. Okay? Motivation. Motivation it's self-explanatory. When you're motivated, you have a high drive. You know, motivate yourself to do something like work out and actually recondition your mind. Do a lot of reading. Refine yourself. You know. Stay motivated to do something, whether if you start a new career, or whether if you want to get into designing, or if you want to become a doctor or a lawyer. Whatever your motivation is, what motivates you. Starting a business is actually a really wonderful way. You know, whatever you like to motivate yourself, stay motivated. You know, keep yourself active. You know, that's one of the key points of actually staying motivated. And also, you know, working out actually relieve a lot of stress. Okay. The next one that I want to talk about is discovering God. You know, um, God is a good way to find your self-worth. Sometimes us women, we don't we lack God, and sometimes it's always good to pray to the man upstairs. Especially if you want to live a Christian lifestyle. God is the main source to actually living your life, knowing your self-worth, and whatever problems you have, you praise him and you give it all to God. God is the number one source. God helped me through my trials and tribulations. That's the only reason why I can speak about it of experience. So ladies, know your self-worth. You know what you're worth. So don't allow people to treat you or mistreat you. The next thing that I want to talk about is no sex before marriage. A lot of people are so quick to give up their bodies, or so quick to have sex with men, or men are having sex with women. They don't value themselves because they've been hurt, they've been in a really bad relationship, and they feel that they're not worth it. So, or maybe spiritually they're just empty inside and they don't feel wanted. And that's why a lot of men cheat, because they feel unwanted. They don't even know their self-worth because lacking of God. The next thing that I want to talk about is sex before marriage. Sex before marriage is a wonderful thing to do, knowing your self-worth, because a lot of women get caught up in relationships and having sex with a guy, and they don't even barely know the guy. They're so quick to have sex. It's like, you're just giving, sex is made for marriage, so, and you get emotionally attached to that person, and you start thinking about that person even if they're not there. You really have to reiterate yourself, revalue yourself. Don't allow men to just sleep with you just regardless of the fact because he whispers sweet nothings in your ear. So value yourself. Go celibate for a year if you feel like you need to, and actually refine yourself, recondition your mind. Just know your self-worth. You know that you're worth it. Don't let everybody have access to you. Okay? Don't allow men to mistreat you and abuse you for sexual needs. So ladies, just make sure you do that. Go celibate, and if you really want to find a husband, you will be waiting for marriage. Same thing with guys, the same thing. If you want a wife, you would have to do the same thing. Women expect the same thing, not just women. Men have to go celibate too as well, and there's nothing wrong with going celibate. It's just that you want to find that right person. Marriage is made for a lifetime. The next thing that I want to talk about is rebuilding your self-esteem. Now, a lot of times you want to rebuild your self-esteem because self-esteem is so important. Having that confidence, that drive, that every man loves, having self